Coming up, we're connecting you with the creativity and culture in your community, including a fiddler who blends classical, bluegrass, and Celtic into a style all her own.
It is not about perfection. It is about fun. It's about feeling. It's about connecting with one another. And when we do that, they connect with us.
Looking back at over 30 years of jazz in the Pioneer Valley.
There was more activity in the Pioneer Valley and in Amherst than there was in many major cities in the U.S.
And we're in Westfield, Massachusetts today to check out a place where breakfast can be dessert.
It's the kind of place where the meals are made to order. Bricks of bacon are sliced by hand, and customers get to hang their pictures up, whether they color inside the lines or not.
Join us for those stories and more as we explore the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. Up next on Connecting Point.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers.
Welcome, and thanks for joining us for Connecting Point, your source for creativity, culture, and community. I'm Saidalis Bauer. We're coming to you today from Westfield, Massachusetts in Hampden County. Known as the Whip City due to the manufacture of horse and buggy whips here during the 19th century, today Westfield is perhaps best known as a home to several unique businesses, Westfield State University, and many great restaurants. We'll explore one of them, the popular eatery known as Pancake Sundaes, a bit later in the program, but we begin our show today with some music. For the first few years of her playing career in New England fiddle contests, Sarah Michael was known as the girl with the red hat. Eventually, it was her playing that was being recognized. Today, Sarah the Fiddler, as she is more commonly known, combines the influences of classical, bluegrass, and Celtic music to create a unique style and sound. Producer Dave Frazier brings us her story.
Sarah the Fiddler's passion for music is evident both in her playing and on the walls of her Southampton home. Her musical journey began at the age of 4 when she started violin lessons using the Suzuki method. By age 6, she was introduced to the fiddle and began competing in contests all over New England.
I do recall getting my first violin at the University of Hartford at a Suzuki convention. I also vividly remember my mom inviting the entire family over to watch me for my first performance at my house and dropping it.
Despite that little blunder, Sarah has continued to share her love of fiddle music all over the region, playing at festivals, in nursing homes, at weddings and parties. A quick side note for those who might be wondering, the words fiddle and violin are two names for the same stringed instrument. In the context of classical music, it's typically called a violin. In a bluegrass band, it's more likely to be called a fiddle.
As a classical violinist, you kind of have to play by the rules, and you have to do things very specifically. And the beauty of fiddling is you can change it. Every time you play it, you can play it differently, and no two fiddlers should ever sound the same.
Sarah's fiddle collection started about 10 years ago and currently stands at 102, and of those, only 12 were made in the United States, with the oldest being made in 1870 in Boston.
Every fiddle has a different story. Every fiddle has a different voice to tell that story. I have a couple that were made from pine wood, but usually it's spruce and maple that make up these instruments. Some sing a little more sweet than others. Some have a little bit more character. Some of the older violins have dings and show their scars. And to me, that's what makes them beautiful, that they're not pristine and perfect.
On stage, Sarah is often accompanied by husband Keith De Silva on drums, Joseph Juck on piano and accordion, and Will Gorey on guitar and mandolin. Their performances take audiences on a musical journey from old-time sing-alongs to lively polkas and rousing reels.
What I like to do in a group setting is to let every musician that's working with me shine. If somebody comes to a Sarah the Fiddler show, you never really know what you're gonna get. We always try to feed off of an audience. We're not a group that typically follows a very strict set of rules and guidelines when we play, meaning set lists and things like that. We kind of like the spontaneity of our program.
Fire on the mountain, the rumbles run. Devils in the house with the rising sun.
When we're, as a group, having fun and laughing while we're playing, we've had so many folks say to us, we love watching you on stage because of your interaction. And although all of us in our own right are pretty serious musicians, when we get together, it is not about perfection. It is about fun, it's about feeling, it's about connecting with one another. And when we do that, they connect with us.
This year marks the end of an era for the UMass Amherst Magic Triangle Jazz Series. For the past 3 decades, Glenn Siegel, founding director, curated this annual event which presented performances from artists with broad ranges of styles and artists at all stages of their careers, including some of the most celebrated musicians in jazz history. As Siegel prepares for his retirement, he spoke with me to take a look back at the history of this long-running event.
Original conception was to produce trios in this series. So the first year we did that. And the name comes from a record that I love called Magic Triangle, which featured Don Poulin, Joseph Jarman, and Don Moyer, 3 heroes of mine. So that's where the name came from. After the first year, we decided to blow up that concept, and since then we produced different sized ensembles.
Having curated over 275 concerts, bringing a range of creative musicians to this area, like you mentioned, such as Yusef Lateef and Sam Rivers, that's just to name a few. What have been some of the triumphs and even challenges with putting on a series of this caliber?
There's always a lot of moving parts in producing live music events. And so we've had, snowstorms and missed flights and things like that. But the musicians are so wonderful. They're natural storytellers, both musically and off the bandstand. So the highlights are so numerous, it's really hard to pin down. Producing a concert with Cecil Taylor, who is one of the icons of our music, was a real treat. You know, doing a concert with Lester Bowie, the great trumpet player from Art Ensemble of Chicago, was a highlight. I produced a concert with his New York Organ Quintet with James Carter and Don Moyer and Amina Myers and Frank Lacey. That was a real highlight. Andrew Hill, one of my all-time heroes, a great pianist and composer, was really special. And that was at a time when not too many people were producing Andrew Hill. And so I like to think that I made a small contribution in reestablishing him among jazz greats. So Yusef Lateef, as you mentioned, was a real highlight. I got to produce a concert with Brother Yusef when he turned 80 years old in Bowker Auditorium. And then again, when he turned 90, a duo with Adam Rudolph, which also was the last concert that we did.
Now, although this region is very notorious for, I think, the creativity, the concerts, the architecture, as you were mentioning with Cecil, but I really am interested in hearing what you think, looking back at the history of the Magic Triangle Jazz Series. What do you think really set this series apart from all of the other creative endeavors that happen in this region?
Well, I like to think that the artists that I produced, by and large, were people who other presenters would not have brought to the Valley, in part because their music was more adventurous or avant-garde than most presenters are comfortable with, or they had critical reputations, but they weren't in the public eye in the same way, but they had stature. So I think in part, that's what I'm most proud of. And that's, I think, the lasting legacy of the series, is that we brought to the Valley artists who wouldn't have come otherwise or been invited otherwise.
So now, Glenn, as this chapter has ended for the Magic Triangle series, what will you miss the most about it? And how do you really think that this legacy should continue in this community and in this area?
I'm lucky enough to continue producing concerts. My wife and I, Priscilla Page, started Pioneer Valley Jazz Shares 10 years ago. And in fact, Dave Frazier was kind enough to profile Jazz Shares in October of this past year. I hope that other presenters will pick up the mantle. There's so many musicians that deserve to be heard by Pioneer Valley audiences. So I'm hopeful that as the years unfold, ambitious producers and historians will find what we've done and revive it or build on it and create a new generation of concerts and opportunities for musicians.
Every week, Connecting Point explores the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England, but it doesn't stop there. You can find us online anytime for exclusive features and content. Since the inaugural show in 1990, the Magic Triangle Jazz Series has been offering the Amherst region unique performances with an array of artists, all while taking place in an intimate venue. And in this week's digital exclusive, the founding director of this series, Glenn Siegel, describes to us one of the most memorable performances that he's experienced.
It had a tap dancer, Brenda Buffalino, and it also had a sound artist. She's actually a healer. Vicky Dodd is her name. And she had a table, a massage table on the stage. And we actually brought up a member of the audience.
You can find that digital exclusive online right now at nepm.org/connectingpoint. We're coming to you from Westfield today, and right now we're in the Rose Garden at historic Stanley Park on Western Avenue, a spot for residents to enjoy the outdoors and 300 acres of gardens, fields, and walking trails. And here in the city of Westfield, there's a weekend breakfast spot that has all the elements of a diner with a touch of ice cream shop pizzazz. Since 2015, customers from all over have been coming to Pancake Sundaes for a unique dining experience. And Connecting Point's Brian Sullivan dropped by during a breakfast rush to bring us this next story.
When it comes to owning and running a restaurant, oftentimes, like the song says, it's a family affair. For Frank Baldwin here at Pancake Sundaes in Westfield, that could be anything from dad working the mixer, mom on the phone and running the register, and little sister on the grill.
Everyone in the family has worked here at one time or another. Right now it is kind of all of us. It's mom, dad, me, my younger sister Lisa, but my 6-year-old nephew has even come in and bust tables when I've needed his mom to fill in as a server. You know, that phone rings at 6 in the morning and somebody's calling out. You got to call your sister and wake her up at 6 in the morning on her one day off of the week, and they come in. They're not even reluctant about it. They're here. They're always here for me.
As nearly anyone who's had to work closely with family can attest, it's not always the most enjoyable experience. Sometimes it's mission impossible. Little sister Lisa sees that challenge and ups the stakes by making it look easy.
We've been best friends since I was born. That's what we always say. Like, we lifelong best friends. Like, yeah, he's my brother, but it's kind of an ongoing joke that he calls me his brother as well, because that's just, we're brothers. Like, we work together, we hang out, we're still like best friends. So working together, I think it makes it better because we are so close.
And it's been help from his family that's allowed Baldwin to pursue his culinary dreams of managing a kitchen and taking on a creative endeavor like this one. It's the kind of place where the meals are made to order. Bricks of bacon are sliced by hand on the regular, and customers get to hang their pictures up, whether they color inside the lines or not. It's also the kind of place where a grandfather can bond with his grandson over a stack of pancakes and an omelet.
Thank you very much. It means something to me because growing up I didn't have the luxury of a grandfather. So it's kind of hard to know how to be a grandfather, but I love my grandson.
Located in a structure that was built in 1890, part of the charm to the dining experience here is the nostalgia that's baked into it. That includes everything from handwritten meal tickets to the pictures on the wall showcasing just how historic this little section of Westfield is.
The building here on the corner of Elm and Orange has been here for longer than most people can remember. But since 2015, this has been the spot that people have been coming to for that unique pancake experience.
This is actually my first time here. It was actually the best breakfast I've had, honestly. It's just a good time to get together and have time, especially if you're working, all week. You don't really get to see this family as much as you want, so Sunday is a good time to unite and, over a special, delicious breakfast.
Meanwhile, at the back of the house, any semblance of sibling rivalry is out the window. Here, it's just about making the best tasting meal with outstanding presentation each time they take to the grill. That and the gratitude they have for being able to work with each other.
I want the presentation to be amazing because whether they know it or not, I know that I put it out there and I want it to be that oh my God moment, and that I gave that to them.
It's been such a blessing. The atmosphere is much more low-key, but it's also, I know that person next to me, they're gonna dig just as hard as I am when there's 15 orders up and there's a line out the door. I know she's putting in 110% effort, and that's been the biggest and best part.
And for a poignant coda to our Pancake Sundaes story, log on to our webpage for a digital extra as Pancake Sundaes kitchen manager Frank Baldwin talks about overcoming addiction and how his family and the restaurant have helped him maintain his sobriety.
I owe my sobriety and my newfound life to Pancake Sundaes because, something I didn't realize when I was struggling when I was younger was that it's a job every day. It's hard work every day. You got to get your butt up and put that effort in.
You can find that digital extra online right now at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Award-winning children's author and poet Leslie Bulion has enjoyed reading and writing since the 4th grade. Now, after a few different career paths, Bulion is the author of several children's books, with her most recent release entitled Serengeti Plains of Grass. She joined me to discuss her career and the inspiration behind this lyrical salute to Africa's Serengeti Plain.
I really had never had any thoughts about writing professionally. I studied science. I became a social worker. And then a friend of mine who had been my friend a very long time, I wrote her a letter about some feelings about parenting. And she happened to be the editor of a parenting magazine, of Parents magazine. And so she said, "Why don't you write for the magazine?" And I thought, well, okay, because I had been taking a break from being a social worker. My children were really small. So I did that for a while and really loved it. But then I told her something that happened to one of my daughters, and she said, "That would make a good children's story." So I thought, well, her first idea was so good. Why not listen to her second idea? And I never sold that story, but I really just fell in love with the learning and the process. And I've always loved children's literature and read voraciously myself, and then with my daughters. So I thought, well, this really feels right.
And so your latest book, titled Serengeti Plains of Grass, is a lyrical salute to Africa's Serengeti Plain. Why did you choose to write about this area in particular? Where did the inspiration come from?
Well, I was very, very fortunate to spend some time in East Africa. It was quite a number of years ago, but my husband's sister was working there on a teaching fellowship, and she invited us to come. And it just affected me so much, everything about it, the expanse, the splendor, the animals that you could see, and then the ones that were sort of hidden under the tall grass that you didn't know were there, but you knew something was going on. And I just always wanted to go back. And it took me a long time to figure out how to go back through writing.
And so this book will explore all of those different animals that you were just talking about in the Serengeti Plain, as well as the productive ecosystem that exists there. Can you share with us a little bit about what we can expect to read and learn about in this book?
One of the things that Tanzania's Serengeti Plain is well known for is the great migration of more than 1 million wildebeests, hundreds of thousands of zebras, gazelles that move through the whole Serengeti Mara ecosystem, really into a little bit of Kenya too. Not exactly in a circle, but they have this cycle following the rains and the monsoons. So the book follows that into the Serengeti shortgrass plain, which is sort of the southeastern part of the Serengeti, and follows the food web from the base of the food web, which is the grass, through the animals that eat the grass, and they are large and small, and then animals that eat other plants, and moving up through animals that eat the smaller animals, animals that eat the bigger animals, the top predators, and then the recyclers that eat all of the leavings of the animals and the scat of the animals, and recycles it back into the soil to feed the grass and start the cycle over again. So there's kind of two things going on, the migration cycle and the food web.
Science is one of those topics and subjects that it appeals to anyone of all ages, but sometimes it can have complex concepts to explain. So do you ever find it challenging to write in a way that children can comprehend these concepts?
One of the books that I wrote a while ago at the Seafloor Cafe, I did study oceanography. And I think at first it started out to be a little too complex because I knew a lot about the subject, but I approach the books that I'm writing from a basis of certainly understanding biology and ecology, but really not knowing the ins and outs of a particular area or of a particular group. Like when I wrote about amphibians, I really didn't know anything about amphibians. So I'm approaching it from nothing and soaking everything in, and then not trying to teach everything, but just trying to share what I find really fascinating and what I call juicy science stories and something cool that kids could really relate to. And one of the things about writing poetry is that you have to hone everything down to just a handful of words. So how are you going to get that across in just so few words? And I think that's what helps me just make it into this little package.
Something that you just mentioned brings me to my next question. You said that you wrote about amphibians, but you didn't know much about amphibians. And so a lot of your books have a broad range of nature and science. I mean, you talk about spiders to stink bugs and birds to random body parts. So what's the research that goes into your writing your next subject?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have sort of multi-pronged research. One of the things that I absolutely love to do, and part of my mission when I meet with kids, is to talk about getting outside and exploring yourself however you can. Any kind of hands-on learning, for the way I learn, it's best for me. And I think it's really fun for everybody to get out in nature and to be learning those things. So that's one thing that I always do, is try to get out in nature, hands-on, with people who are experts in the field. And then I read very widely. I read giant textbooks about amphibians and guidebooks about amphibians. And then I start sort of drilling in and reading about specific amphibians that I think I can fit into a book, because I always have a theme. In that case, it was amphibian acrobats. So I was looking at how amphibians move. Actually, the title came first in that book because I like alliteration. So I was like, amphibians acrobats. Okay, now who's going to get to be in this book? And so I looked at all of these great, again, like juicy science stories about amphibians, and really honed in on specific ones so that it would cover a broad range of what amphibians do. So I'm trying to look at what makes an amphibian, and also tell this fun story about which ones are acrobats and how I can fit them into that theme. And then I also read fiction, because I like to sort of connect with the emotion of characters in books that are in love with these animals or having something to do with these animals. And I know an author named Bill Harley who wrote Night of the Spadefoot Toads. And so I read that book because there was a kid who was really into protecting the spadefoot toads. And so I do a lot of different kinds of research and then start the writing.
And if you love to explore the outdoors, head over to Connecting Point Online for a digital extra as children's author and poet Leslie Bulion shares some tips and tricks for children and adults on how to explore and get up close and personal with nature.
And I make little notes about where I've seen it and maybe what the critter was doing. And when I want to draw something, I can put it in a bug viewer and then take a really close look at it and take my time drawing, and then of course, let it go back outside.
That's available on our webpage right now. And that does it for this edition of Connecting Point. Remember, you can always find all of the stories that you saw in this episode, as well as exclusive features, digital-only content, and so much more online anytime at nepm.org/connectingpoint. Our thanks to the City of Westfield and Stanley Park for hosting us today. And please be sure to join us again every week right here for more stories of the creativity, culture, and community that make us Western New England. I'm Sarah Bauer. Thanks for watching and take care.
Support for Connecting Point is provided by our contributing viewers,